everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah. Say hello to somebody around you. Here we go. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one. I did one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Hey, hey, hey. All right.
Well, good morning, Center for Spiritual Living, Palm Desert. How is everyone this morning? Woo! I can tell. You guys are lighting up the room. So let's say our vision and mission together with enthusiasm. We are a positive faith community that accepts all religions. Our vision is spiritual awakening and personal growth in a world that works for everyone. Our mission is to help individuals discover the spiritual tools and inner power that has the ability to transform lives and make the world a better place. All right, that's what we do every day, right? So don't forget, today after this service, we are having a reignite, and that's for anybody that's been over 2 years here. We're going to be going from 12:30 to 3, and we're just going to be kind of giving you a preview of what's happening in 2018, where we're going, and kind of break up. We want some input from you, and so there's a light lunch served over there, so please join us. I'm sure you've already signed up and be there this afternoon. What's next? Oh, this Wednesday, Reverend Ruth Ann, over in the Ohm Room. This is back. She was on hiatus for a little while, but she's doing our midweek faith lift. And it's over in the Ohm Room, and it's a Wednesday wisdom service. So join her over there. You have 2 things to choose from on Wednesday. And then also Wednesday here in the sanctuary, Nova, I can't remember her last name, but she's going to be here. She's doing this Planet X, and she's the astrologer for Palm Springs Life, and there are flyers out there, and she'll be in here 6:30 to 8:30, and the cost for that is $22 for that. Just a reminder, Dale will not be having her Sacred Circle this Thursday. No class, so don't show up or you'll be the only one. This Saturday, I am going to be doing a spiritual mind treatment class. And that is going to be I'm moving it over to Costa Hall. And it's going to start at 9 o'clock till 12:30. And this is a mandatory class for those of you who are taking my foundations class, but anybody's invited to this. This is really going to not just teach you the 5 steps, but really we're going to write prayers. We're really going to kind of dissect why it works, how it works, and how to write powerful prayers for yourself and others. I mean, this is like what we teach our practitioners. So please join us. It'll be a really in-depth class. You get a little binder with that, or a little workbook so that you can take with you to remember how to do it. And Laura Meeks is going to tell you about Halloween party.
Hey everybody, I'm Laura Meeks, and I'm representing the Rainbow Alliance, and this is our chance to invite all of you to come and share in a spiritual experience at our home on Saturday the 28th between 5 and 7, or however long that goes. Now, one of the things I want to tell you is one of the things that I absolutely love about this community is the chance to connect to other people. And often you see each other here, but you don't always get a chance to chat, and you don't always have a chance to be in an environment where you can actually listen and hear and talk to each other. So we're offering you that chance. This is for everybody here. If you have been, how many of you have your hand on my wall? How many know what that means? Okay, there's a bunch of people that have their hand on. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then Saturday you need to come put your hand on my wall. So I invite you all there. It's a chance to see not only your fellow people, but often the musicians come and jam in my basement in my music room. So there's lots of fun that can happen there. And again, I invite you all.
I've been to it. It is really fun. She has a fabulous place. It's a great party house. It's a fabulous party house, and it is fun to get dressed up in costumes. We never grow up, right? That's why you ever look around our sanctuary and you're amazed when somebody tells you their age, because we are so young at heart and just full of life, right? So join them. I know it'll be a fun evening. So Dr. Joe has a wonderful article in November Science of Mind magazine, and it's for sale. We have them in the bookstore, so you might want to grab one before they're all gone, but it's a really good article. And pumpkins, we had a few still left after the first service. They're busy over in the youth church over there decorating pumpkins, so I'm sure there'll be some more out there. Thank you all for everybody who brought pumpkins for the youth. They've been just having a great time decorating. Now you get to throw some money in the thing and take them back home. So they're out there. They're really adorable. So please join me. And then Gary's not here, and they raised like $2,100 for the AIDS walk. It was a great success. So we want to thank Gary for all his hard work. This was a labor of passion for Gary, and he did a great job, and we so appreciate it. And I think that's it. Are we going to say, we have a birthday boy. Are we saying anything?
We do, and we're going to sing to him right now.
Okay, thank you.
Our drummer, Jay, back there. It was his birthday a couple days ago, and we're celebrating today. Would you sing with us? It would be great. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jay. Happy birthday to you. Without him, we'd be sunk, right? Are y'all ready? All right, this fabulous choir up here that you're looking at, they're going to do a piece from the musical Godspell. It's called You Are the Light of the World. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
It's something kind of crucial. Ha!
You want to stay by to be the light of the world.
You are the salt of the earth.
You are the salt of the earth.
But if that salt had lost its flavor, it just did no favor. Ha! It just might hide that very well. Ha! You are the light of the world. All right. Way to go, guys. Thank you. Beautiful. And let's hear it for that band, too, that does such a great job for us. Absolutely. So good morning. You ready to go to work? Let's do some spiritual work. Let's turn the lights down. Take a deep breath in. Uncross your legs, uncross your arms. Make sure your chin is sort of looking up into the horizon, not down. Become open and receptive to that which is ready to be received by you in this moment. Take another deep breath in, please. And exhale out. I want you to think right now in your mind, is there a situation that is bothering me, that is holding me back? Is there a conversation that I had with someone that didn't end so well? Am I unable to forgive someone in this moment? Is there something that if I had to do it all over again, would I do it differently? Would I say something differently, do something differently? What kind of label have I attached to myself that isn't working? Take a deep breath in. All to Spirit I surrender. All to Thee I freely give. I will always love and trust You. In Your presence daily live. All to Spirit I surrender. All that's good is wholly mine. In Your presence, in this oneness, through You I am power divine, and I surrender all. I surrender all to Thee, my blessed Spirit, I surrender all.
Good morning, Center for Spiritual Living, Palm Desert. Welcome to today. I invite you as we continue in the same state of blessed, sacred consciousness. I invite you to breathe in. Breathe in the beauty that surrounds you. This day, this Sunday filled with light, blue skies, temperate weather. Breathe in the beauty that surrounds you and release anything that stands between you and appreciating that beauty. I invite you to take in another deep breath, a deep cleansing breath, and breathe in the love that surrounds you. The love of God, the love of family, the love of friends, the love of giving, the love of the person next to you. Breathe in the love of God and breathe in the love of yourself. Breathe in the love and release anything that stands between you and knowing that love pervades the air. Release anything that stands between you and knowing that charity begins at home. That one mind, that one power, that one presence, that power is connective, that power is binding, That power is diverse. That power is tolerant. That power is love. And I am knowing that that connective tissue that moves in and around and through me, I am knowing if that binding force is here for me, it is also here for you. I, Francine Ward, I speak my word for myself and each and every one of us, knowing that love is in the air. Today we create a space, we create room, lots of room for love. On this day, we create room for the love of God. We create room for the love of family. We create room for the love of friends. We create room for the love of this center. We create room for the love for the person sitting next to us. But when the dust settles and the dawn breaks, the love that's most important is the love for ourselves. Today, I am the most important person in my life. Today, you are the most important person in your life. For without that self-love, there can be no outward love. My love for myself defines my love for you. Your relationship with yourself defines your relationship with me. Today we create space. We create space for love. Love space. Today we focus on love space. I give thanks for the opportunity to be a part of this connective energy. I give thanks for the willingness to take a stand for love of all. I give thanks for the willingness to say yes. I love God, I love family, I love country, I love church, and I love me. I give thanks for that, shown through my behavior. And if that's an opportunity for me, it's an opportunity for you. I give thanks for the opportunity today, on this day, to be a part of my church community. I give thanks for each and every one of you who's shown up this morning to create this loving space. Not so much in word, but in deed. I give thanks for the concierge, for the ushers, for the audio-visual people, and I give thanks for our musicians, all of our sweet musicians who create melodies that crack open the heart and break open the spirit. I give thanks for the ministers, for the practitioners who hold up this container called Center for Spiritual Living, Palm Desert, and I give thanks for Reverend Joe's message. For I am knowing on this day it is good, and it is very good. I give thanks for these things and so much more. And so with love in my heart and gratitude in my spirit, I release my word unto the law of mind, knowing that it is done. And if any part of anything I've shared resonates within your heart, your loving heart, I invite you to say with me, and so it is.
I surrender all. I surrender all to thee, my blessed Spirit. I surrender all, and I surrender all. I surrender all to thee, my blessed Spirit. I surrender all to thee, my blessed Spirit. I surrender all. Take a deep breath in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Please join me, the words are on the front. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, shine, shine. Let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, shine, shine. Let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine.
guys.
Great band. Thank you so
That's
much.
great. Thank you. So we are going to let our light shine today. Today I'm going to talk about the perfect relationship. How many of you are perfect? Anybody? How many of your spouses would say you're perfect? No, never mind. Okay, that's a different question. Is there such thing as a perfect relationship? You know, they just sang a song, Let It Shine. What happens, we actually, in order to be in relationship, actually we're always in relationship. You and I are constantly in relationship. You know why? Because actually we are always expressing our light, or sometimes darkness, but we're expressing whatever that is, and that's the God expression through means of us. We're actually in relationship with spiritual beings all the time, which means we're actually in relationship with spirit every time we converse with someone or have any interaction with them. They are the God self coming right back at us, right? We are the God self-expressing, and they are the God self-expressing to us. Do we look at people like that? When we have conversations, do we look at people, or do we see a label, or do we see a person, or do we see a past, a history, or do we see skepticism or fear? When we see them, do we see the God in them, or are we looking at our perceptions? Because when you think about it, in its purest form, the relationships that we have are perfect. I'm perfectly perfect, perfectly imperfect as it is, and you're perfectly perfect and imperfect as you are. But we are both expressing spirit to the best of our ability. Many of these quotes that I have today are from Dr. Ernest Holmes. I guess I did a talk a couple weeks ago. I mentioned something about relationships, and someone said, why don't you do a talk about relationships? So here it is, all right? As the thing itself is infinite, the possibilities for the perfect relationship, they're infinite as well. If God is infinite, then how can we say I am limited by the friendships or connections that I have with people? If the universe is infinite, maybe I'm not taking advantage of my divine birthright to be in communion and to share my light with people and have them share their light with me. You know, it works both ways. I can't just expect people to share their light with me if I'm not willing to be a participant in the relationship, right? So there are infinite possibilities, and there's infinite types of relationships. Today we're going to talk about some intimate relationships, some friendships, some coworker relationships. It just kind of draws the whole broad spectrum of relationships in today. Dr. Holmes, oh no, I said this. The following are some ideas, Dr. Hooper said this. The following are some ideas to try on, like trying on a pair of shoes to see if they fit. If it doesn't fit, come back next week, we'll have another pair. All right? So some of these ideas might work for you, some of them might not, but come back next week and figure it out. Dr. Holmes said this, it has been said that we can know God only so far as we can become God. Ooh. We can know God as far as we can become God. Now, what does that mean? To me, it means that the deeper relationship I have with the inside spirit of myself, not some outside entity, but the spirit within me, the deeper I can have relationship with you. The deeper I go, we can go together. Does that make sense? All right? So only as deep as I can go, can we go together. Now, as far as you can go, sometimes we are in a relationship with people who may not be on the same page that we are. Has anyone ever had that? Yeah. How many? Dozens, right? Yeah, and you're trying to be in relationship with people who aren't necessarily on the same spiritual level you are. And sometimes it's a little frustrating because you want to go deeper into the friendship, into the relationship, but they're not interested. They don't have that knowledge base. They don't have that commitment to the self-expressing. So it only reaches a certain point. Have any of you ever had that where it reaches a certain point and you just sort of know that's where it's going to hang? But if you know that, then it shouldn't become an issue. If you know that, then you know that that person's doing the very best they can, or they choose to, and we have to honor that God self who says, no, thanks, I'm good. No, you don't need to bring me to church on Sunday. No, I don't need to hear that CD. No, I don't need to read that book, right? No, they'll come to it when, just like you came to it when you were ready. People will come to it as they're ready. But only so far as you dive into your own spirituality, your own intimate relationship with the infinite, that's as deep as you're going to be able to go with anybody else in your life. If one only sees unloveliness in others, it's because unloveliness is a strong element in himself. The light he throws, or in some instances shade, the light he throws on others is generated in his own soul and sees them as he chooses to see them. It's from Dr. Ernest Holmes. I learned a term, shade. For those of you who are a little bit older, as my voice hit puberty when I said that. For those of you who are a little bit older, I found that people can throw shade. There's a new term out there. That just means they're throwing attitude, right? Or they're throwing criticism. So I didn't know that. So I learned, so you can throw your light or you can throw shade. And some of you are really good at throwing shade. Some of you are great at showing light, but some of you also like to throw some shade around. Well, you know what? Whenever you're throwing shade, you're throwing the inside of you to someone else who probably sees it the same way you do, and hey, have some of that in their own expression as well. Because usually we always talk about through the law of attraction, you attract what you are. So if I'm kind of expressing, or someone's expressing unloveliness to me, chances are pretty good somewhere within me recognizes it and doesn't like it, and so I express unloveliness in return. It's like taking the tennis ball and, okay, if someone lobs over a complaint, well, I can do that too. Off I go, right? Does that make sense? And then you have a party where you're not doing anything productive but complaining. Anyone ever attend those parties? They're not very much fun, all right? So the light we throw, or the shade we throw is going to be exactly to our level of belief and reciprocity to the universe, bringing back those feelings in other ways and in other people by means of us. It could even be something as innocent as, have you ever, I'm sure you have you ever been frazzled when you're traveling? Yeah, you know? And it seems like when you go to the gate agent is as equally frazzled as you. Anybody? And so now you have two people at the end of their rope trying to be as kind as they can, but the reality is both of them are frazzled. Have you ever had that? Yeah, and then you say, oh my God, I can't believe how mean they were. And they go to the back room going, can you believe that passenger, how mean they were to me? And so it's ongoing because we're participants in it. Now, this is something that he came up with, and I love it. Here we go, written in 1940-something-ish. If the philosophy of Christianity were lived, wars would cease, unhappiness would cease, economic problems would be solved, poverty would be wiped from the face of the earth, and man's inhumanity to man would be transmuted into a spirit of mutual helpfulness. Ooh. In relationship with each other. Now, sometimes you have to take everything in context here. He talks about if the philosophy of Christianity if we abided by that. Think about that. If the first 400 years, we've talked about this before, in the first 400 years after Jesus died, it was said that they taught what Jesus taught, which is what? Unconditional love and healing. He never talked about judging people. He never tried to control people. It was unconditional love and healing. So if we as human spiritual entities were to just practice unconditional love and healing, those are the things that would affect the world. We'd have all these things come together in the world. We wouldn't be based on a model of fear. Fear wouldn't be present because why? Everything would be about love and love expressing. What's ultimately expressing at all times? The love of God through me and the love of God through you. Again, it has to go back to its original origin. We have to go back to its origin and see, I am God expressing, you are God expressing. Say that, please. I am God expressing, you are God expressing. And everyone in this room, we are creating an energy unto itself. We're creating an energy of just in this room. Every time we're gathered together, we create an energy. Anytime you go into a business, you create an energy. Anytime you get with your family, you're creating an energy. You're creating, that love energy is going back and forth, or it's not. And we know what happens when it doesn't. It gets really unpleasant, doesn't it? But if we were actually to live that philosophy of unconditional love, unconditional acceptance, no judgment, if we could live that philosophy, we would change the world. So the question is, why don't we at least do that? In this room, why don't we commit to doing that? Why don't we commit to not being judgmental, to not having the conversations about other people, talking about other people behind their back, where we don't have to go into those conversations? You know, I find myself being very quiet lately in groups, because as soon as the group mentality, the groupmosphere I call it, as soon as the groupmosphere starts to reflect a negative vibe and a negative energy, I get really antsy now because I don't want to participate in it. I don't want to toss myself into the ring of complaining about the way the world is right now.
I just need to see the highest level for myself and for everyone else. But sometimes when you even express that, people look at you like, whoa, what, that's not going to happen. But why can't it happen? It happens right here first. Anything that's going to become manifest in your life or in my life, anything and everything has to be a thought first. Everything is a thought before it becomes a thing. So what if we had these thoughts and we kept these thoughts at the highest level we could so that we don't go into the ditch and have these conversations? Turning the other cheek is a phrase that refers to responding to an aggressor without violence. Sometimes it's hard to turn another cheek. Sometimes I say I have no more cheeks to turn. Sometimes I'm at the end of my rope too, and I don't have another cheek to turn. You've hit all four. There's nowhere for me to go. I've turned and turned and turned, and I can't find a place to go now. But, turning the other cheek is like one should never do wrong in return nor mistreat any man, no matter how one has been mistreated by them. So turning the other cheek doesn't necessarily mean that the other person's right. It just means you're not going to retaliate. It means you don't need to retaliate. That's like saying, let's just do an if-then, right? Let's just use Jesus as an example here. Do you think that Jesus would retaliate? No. So let's substitute the word love for Jesus, all right? So take Jesus out and say, do you think love would retaliate? So what if we just be love and live from there and not worried about retaliation, not worried about getting back or getting even or carrying the grudge? What would love do? How would love respond to this? That's always the litmus test for us now. We've been talking about it for a couple months. How would love respond to that? In fact, that's my Science of Mind article is all about that. We don't need to treat people poorly because they treat us poorly. We go by the golden rule, do unto others as we would have others do unto you. Unfortunately, we turned it just a tad. We say, do unto others before they do it to you. Some of us have turned that around. Some people have turned that around. And so they're on the offensive all the time. What if we just had an understanding that we were going to be those spiritual beings having that relationship? Relationships go through seasons. Sometimes they're bright and sunny, sometimes not so much. But be vigilant because good cycles return. One of the hardest things is, as a minister when I'm meeting with a couple, and they've only been together for a while, the waves start showing up in their relationship, conflict starts showing up a little bit, and they're quick to abandon the ship. They're really quick to abandon ship. And what I try to tell people is, look, everybody goes through phases in their life, and not everybody's phases are synced up, right? Sometimes in a partnership, your phases are different and your needs are different. But if you were to ride it out a little bit, if you were to ride that out, you'd then go back into sync at some point. Now, I'm not saying being miserable for years, but I am saying before you jump ship too quick, understand that we're all in different phases. I don't care how long you've been together or what your age is. Everybody's phases and functions are different in their spiritual growth and their own physical growth. And if that's the case, then we have to be more patient with one another and not be quick to abandon relationships that very well could be really great things for us if we would just allow ourselves to go through the season of the challenge, if you will, to walk all the way through it, not try to abandon while the storm's going. Does that make sense? Many people jump off when the storm is going. I'd say ride out the storm, get to the port, and then if you need to jump off, jump off. Does that make sense? All right. Is there such thing as a perfect marriage? Oh, man, you guys are on it today, aren't you? Is there such... Yes, I guess. I've never seen one. God knows I've been through 7 of them. You'd think I'd had at least one of them that was decent. Right? Is there such thing as a perfect marriage? Yes. You're thinking, now how the heck is he going to get out of this one? Does that mean that everything is going right all the time, or that it goes your way, or that you're feeling romantic all the time? No. That's like this model that people put up of that couple that's on TV that always seem to be running through a wheat field with a kite and the perfect dog. You know what I mean? Everything works out perfectly for them, and they get in their Range Rover, and then they fly off on their jet, and everybody goes like, oh my God, I want that to be me. Why doesn't my relationship look like that? So I think those are, they may exist, but in my mind, You know what? It's not about that stuff. In my mind, this is what it says. Here we go. Your marriage is perfect if you have the right attitude. And I don't mean thinking positively. This is not walking around the house going, I love singing Kumbaya all the time. You know, that's not what this is about. This is not about a false sense of being positive. It's about coming from that place of love that I've been talking about up till this point. It's about reflecting that love. It's about being that love at this point. So, and I don't mean that you think positively. I do mean that you think outwardly. I think, in fact, Francine actually used that in her prayer today. She talked about living it outwardly, expressing that love, not keeping it in for fear that it might not be reciprocated, or not keeping it in because you fear what might happen, but actually living your love in an outward way. When two people, or when they live their love in an outward way like that, yeah, when you do so, married life becomes perfect no matter what difficulties you're going through. Why? Because it allows you to go through them with the support of love. Not judgment, not condemnation, not labeling, not rating. It lets you go through it. So to me, there is such thing as a perfect relationship. And that perfect relationship are two people loving each other. And you know what? I don't care what combination you come up with. Love is love. We're not here to judge. We will never judge your relationship. You know, there may be people that will. In my center, under my leadership, I'm like, nope, we're not judging anything. Love is love, and love can express in many ways, shapes, and forms, and I'm not going to tell the universe how to restrict expressing love. It's important that we support each other and love each other regardless of what we were brought up to think. Because today is a new day. This is a new era. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Facing a dilemma. Have you ever had a dilemma in your marriage? Anybody? I'm not in love with him or her anymore. Has anyone ever had that? Wow, no one. You guys are all saints. I bet your divorce decrees are, it was an amicable parting. We sang Kumbaya together, and it was fabulous, right? No, if you've ever had this, look, if you're having trouble in your relationship, here's my prescription for the week, okay? If you need to kind of not fall back in love, if you want to build your love, for 1 week, pretend that you love them. That's easy, isn't it? And I even say, fake it if you have to, right? But get into it. When you pass them at the dinner table, brush their shoulder, put your hand on their arm while talking. Feeling follows behavior, and feeling follows action. So the first step is to begin just communicating with each other, and just a simple hand on the shoulder. Next, you could say, but I've tried. I've tried so hard. I've tried everything. No, you're going to have to try again. Probably, and be consistent on its application. So here I put, try again. Be consistent for 1 full week. Not hit and miss when you feel like it, but consistent for 1 full week. This works with friendships and other relationships too, without the touching part. I had to put that, unless you're into that, if that's what you're, that's fine with me, right? No judgment there. But be consistent with it. Give it a week. Imagine, we keep waiting for other people to show up to shift the energy in a relationship. If they would just show up the way I show up, everything would be fine. If they would do everything I do, everything would be fine. Anybody ever had, right? Right? No. You show up. You be the action. Don't wait for someone to show up for you to start having a relationship with whoever that is. You have to be that first. You have to step out of that first. Now, it may not be reciprocated at first. There may be a lot of water that's been under and over that bridge, right? It may take some time. But if it's something that you really want, then you have to work at it. The worst part, when I have counseling and people come in, the worst part is I have 2 people who aren't willing to engage in the activity of bringing something back together again. They're quite happy in the passiveness of failure versus the action of success. Now, that can be in friendship, that can be in your business, that can be anywhere. Once you become passive and you're not actively engaged in your life, things start to fall apart. Have you ever noticed that? You have to be actively engaged. Why? Because all thoughts become things. So when I'm passive with my thought, things are going to come to a screeching halt. They always have and they always will. I don't care what kind of friendship or relationship you're in. So let's talk about that. People are talking about different types of relationships. We have a paradigm that needs to shift. I feel we have a paradigm that needs to shift. You know, because we love all people, we love all relationships, but some people have an old paradigm of a relationship. So they say, I really want to be in love, I really want to have this. And I ask them, what does that mean to me? What does it look like to you? And they're like, well, you know, they'll say, I really don't want to get married. I'm saying, then make sure that you put that out there, that you're not saying, I want a relationship where marriage and we have to move in together and I clean out half my bank account. I don't need to do all of those things, right? But you can have relationships. You can have intimate relationships. You can have a relationship where you have a house and they have a house and you travel together and have fun, where you go out to dinners and you go to movies and you engage in having light and sharing your light with someone else. It doesn't have to conform to an old model of relationship. As long as there's two people consenting, then that's fine. They don't have to go by the old paradigms anymore. You don't have to do anything but be love. And if that matches with someone, then just enjoy it and have fun, right? Engage in it. There's no rules around that. Just engage in it. As long as you don't take them from someone else or steal them or harm them or hurt them, then you know what? It's all good. But you have to be able to express that. You have to be able to be open to the ideas that not everything's going to fit into an old paradigm. It has to fit into your paradigm and the other person's paradigm. Does that make sense? It doesn't have to fit into an old paradigm. They just have to fit into your paradigm, however that expresses. Not married and you want to be? Anybody here not married and you want to be? Don't raise your hand. Well, then again, if you're single, stand up. You never know. There's a shot you're going to get somebody from church right here. Hey, they're on the spiritual journey. Yeah, really. Shake them up. Shake them up. Bliss is up. Look. I love you, Bliss. Bliss is like, where, man, where? If they're in church, we're halfway there. If we're in church, we got half the components down. Some criteria to use. Do you respect them? Do you admire them? Do you support them? And are you attracted to them? The key one, though, is, in my mind, respect, admire, support. Those are the first three that you really have to make up to. Because you know what? Attracted, looks come and go. I used to have a full head of hair and a 28-inch waist. If you'd have fallen in love with me, then you've gotten a real shift, right? Yeah. Show me somebody who fits in their wedding dress, and I'll show you someone who's been to the cosmetic dentist. Okay, so you just have to know that things are going to move around a little bit, right? Looks are outside of you, Annie. I know she can freebase Krispy Kremes, and she doesn't gain an ounce. I hate that. So let's talk about that. But really, it's important that you have that respect and you have that support and you admire the person. You want to be with them. It's a desire thing. Right? Looks come and go. Looks are going to come and go, right? But those things are the necessary components, I think. Whether the relationship on your mind is a personal one, intimate one, or between colleagues at work, or the future relationship for which you are training, here is some advice. Treat your spouse or friend or coworker as if you love them with your last breath, no matter how contrary to that you might feel at any one moment. I know you're like, are you serious? I can't do that. Oh my God. What would they think if I was nice to them? Think about it. Even your coworkers, even people, the dry cleaner, I don't care where you are. The guy that's washing your car, I don't care. Just breathe the love. I mean, just come from a place of love. Let love flow from you easily. It's a challenge to do. And that's why some of you, as soon as I said it, you're like, that's never going to happen. I would say this, try it. Because you might be really surprised what comes back. Pressed down and flowing over. Because a spiritual principle is a spiritual principle. When you do them right, you do them correctly. When you use the law correctly, things come back to you pressed down and flowing over through the law of attraction, through the law of circulation and reciprocity. So during that, all of that, guess what? If you treat people like that, no matter what, it can only come back to help you. Think hard every day about how to make their life worth living. Be the kind of person that you want to love, hug, come home to, and sacrifice for. So that's one of the tickets. Think hard about making life worth living for not just yourself, but for other people. How can I make their day? What can I do special just to make their day? My my joining the dance class this week, people had to send out 7 thank you notes, 1 thank you note a day, to anybody just to say thank you. And I was really, I got a lot of them. I was really grateful I got some of them. But it was really an interesting exercise because people are like, oh my God, I have to say thank you 7 times in a note? I mean, I had to actually write a note to somebody? Yeah, imagine opening up that note, how that would make that person feel to have a handwritten thank you note in front of them. It changes their whole day. Changes their whole day. I live in the faith that there is a presence and power greater than I am that nurtures and supports me in ways I cannot even imagine. I know that this presence is all-knowing and all-power and is always right where I am. If you buy that, if you believe it, if you can weave it into your spiritual tapestry, these words will change your relationships. Let's say this together, please. I live in the faith that there is a presence and power greater than I am that nurtures and supports me in ways I could not even imagine. I know that this presence is all-knowing and all-power and is always right where I am. You are the perfect person to be in a perfect relationship. All you have to do is show up. And so end your lesson. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Joe. So I call our ushers to come forward. And as you prepare to give your offering today, I really want you to prepare. I want you to really consciously think about your giving. This is a spiritual practice, is to give and be grateful for what you have and to share it. So I want us together, and then all of you too that are live streaming, there's a button there for you to donate, or you can text your offering. And so let's come together. Let's say our offertory prayer with deep feeling. And again, remember, if you are giving cash, please put your name on an envelope and put the envelope in so that we know who you are. And it's you consciously thinking about your giving. It's so important for your spiritual growth. So let's say our offertory prayer together, please. I give my offering with gratitude as I recognize the demonstration of Spirit's generosity in all areas of my life.
I release
And I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. My heart is open wide.
this I'm only here for God.
No more struggle, no more strife.
With my faith I see the light. I am free
In the Spirit,
this I'm only here for God. I release
and I let go.
let the
Spirit run my life.
and my
Heart is open wide.
this I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. This I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. This I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. This I'm only
Okay. So as Dale comes forward, let's just get ready and let's just hold out our hands, sending our love and our light, blessing our offerings, and say together, please, this collective offering is Spirit in action. As it circulates into the universe, it touches and blesses many lives, including my own. Thank you, Dale. So at this time, I'd like to welcome our visitors. If you are here for the first time, please don't be bashful. Stand up. We have a gift for you. We'd love to welcome you. Oh, welcome. Yes. All right. Wow. Very nice. Welcome. So what we're giving you is a CD with information about the center. And please stop by the table out here, the foyer, and pick up a CD of a couple of Dr. Joe's talks. We welcome you and we hope you come back. We love for you to make this your spiritual family, be part of our spiritual family. And if you're visiting the desert, please enjoy your stay. And also, these are our prayer practitioners, part of our prayer ministry that will be over in the Om Room, which is the next building over. If you're going through any kind of challenge or anything, please go over there and speak with one of them and have them pray with you. They are powerful. They're called 1-minute miracles because they happen here all the time. Don't forget, this Wednesday, Reverend Ruth Ann has her wisdom service, and there's also Planet X here at 6:30. It says Sacred Circle, but there is no Sacred Circle Thursday. So, and then you can pick up everything else. Don't forget my Spiritual Mind Treatment class this Saturday. So, let's just take a deep breath and let's just do a closing prayer. So from that consciousness of our oneness with that divine intelligence, that one mind, that one spirit that is all love, each and every one of us here is an integral part of that. And each one of us here is in this perfect relationship. We are in this relationship with ourselves. And that's where it starts. That start is that love that is within us, and we project it and we see it everywhere we go. We are that love. We touch people in amazing ways with our consciousness, with our being, with our light. And so we stay focused on that truth, on who we are. And we leave here today lighting up the world. We light up the world with who we are, this divine being, and we attract to ourselves other people that see this light and are drawn to our light. So grateful for this center, so grateful for our musicians, our practitioners, our ministers, Dr. Joe, all our volunteers, and for our congregation that opens their heart every week to hear this message and to live this message. I know that this is the truth. I know that lives are changing in magnificent ways and that the world is changing through our consciousness. So knowing that this is the truth, we just let it be, and together we say, and so it is. Amen. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Don't forget the Reignite over in Costa Hall.